they're about citizens and the desires of citizens. One subject them to the will of the people, and when the people speak, then the politicians must direction from the mirror of the will of the people. When we put a small mirror in which politicians see their mouth and ears, then you can't have reforms. So we want to have a debate. That was a small room for political actors. So they must be subjected to the people. Are people satisfied with the way we function? Are people feeling secure about the transition? Are people feeling secure with the way resources are shared in this country? Do they feel involved? Do they see themselves as a part? So these are the issues that must come in the conversation. Then the actors will see the way. So we must insist. It has nothing to do. When they say they're not interested, but those are interested. So how do we bring them on board? How do we simply avoid going through a political ritual for the sake of an election? And this image attendant to it is a duty of all that are part of Parliament. Members of Parliament, leadership of Parliament, staff of Parliament, because Parliament is a derivation from society. And therefore, it mirrors, and it must mirror, the aspirations of the people, the frustrations of the people, and their desires. So there's no amount of blackmail that should deter Parliament from executing its mandate. Parliament should assert its mandate, should assert its duty and obligation, and should not really surrender it to the executive. The executive has its own mandate. Parliament has a duty to assert the fact that even when there is a considered mistake by Parliament or a committee of Parliament, that should not really blur the duty of Parliament to citizens and posterity. So for me, I differ. That's why even when you have all these flying accusations, first of all manner of accusations should be properly investigated. There should not remain mere accusations that remain flying and then blur the well-intentions, the well-considered intentions of Parliament as a collective or as individuals. First of all, the consultations should begin in earnest. But I'm trying to speak to a number of stakeholders to get a framework, because it's not about my face and my personal involvement, but the interest and participation of all considered stakeholders. Probably that will be able to warm up the population to the possibilities instead of waiting for polling day, which for me is unacceptable and something that I really think will be a very bad thing for Uganda, that is transitioning from a personal rule to a possible democracy if we engendered the requisite reforms, constitutional and electoral. Constitutional especially because the country needs a new consensus. I have said severally before that the current constitution was mutilated. It was predicated on a two-term president. It never was the wish of the framers of the constitution that we'll have a life presidency. So the predicate has since collapsed. So the country needs a new consensus on governance, power sharing, and the rest. So that consensus must come from a consultative process in which citizens at various strata participate without limitation. Your second question,